Ethan Klein video, I know you guys, but he keeps getting himself in trouble, and this time, even members of the crew are getting called out as well.
If you didn't know, Ethan Klein dropped his newest apology yesterday. At noon on April 12th, it reads, "To my LGBTQ plus fans, I am sorry for comments on today's show. The sexualization of gay men and the grouping of tops and bottoms is a stereotype that I'll be trying to unlearn. Apologies to the caller, too, who I shouldn't have pressed inappropriately. I hope you guys know I always mean well." Wow, okay.
He's a power bottom. Power bottom is a guy who likes to wildly ride the peg of another dude.
By the very mob you currently wish to please.
Y'all really need some LGBTQT.
Why?
Shut up.
What did I say wrong?
Shut up.
Colin, if you have a problem with my character...
You got it right. I mean, you literally got it right.
What a power bottom was.
Yeah.
Ethan has now lost over 10,000 subscribers from this topic, and people are really upset with some things he had to say.
Do I think it's funny that the very people he's been courting are, dragging him? Yeah. You know what? So, by the way, you know what brought upon this apology, of course, was, losing 10,000 subs because of it.
Ethan Klein has spent 2 hours of the podcast talking about James Charles because James Charles leaked that he bought diapers on Amazon.
But no. His most recent purchase showed diapers and high-fiber oatmeal.
Okay, we've had a debate, I don't think vaginas increase in size from sex, but assholes actually do. If you have a lot of anal sex, you can actually blast open your anus. Frequent anal sex can result in a blasted open asshole. Maybe he's just got railed real hard the night before. He's a power bottom.
No,
That's an option. Power bottom.
So wouldn't that mean that the diapers aren't for him, though?
No, if he's on the bottom, he's getting railed.
So Ethan Klein spends 2 hours of his shows talking about why James Charles might need adult diapers. Keep in mind, on the last podcast, which I covered here on the Salvo Pancakes YouTube channel, Ethan Klein admitted that he had Gila buy him diapers when he couldn't stop having diarrhea. Ethan Klein brought up multiple theories of why James Charles might be in diapers, a BBL.
This then sparked a whole big massive conversation because during the podcast, he then made a joke about James needing these diapers after, insinuating the position that James would be during, what I'm talking about, getting funky together, saying if he took it really good, then maybe he would need those diapers.
If he's getting blasted in that, potentially, you may need to wear a diaper.
Yeah, that's a real thing that Ethan was saying on the show, and it did not sit right with people at all.
So what he's saying is, because you're a gay man and you're engaging in, how do I say this? Taking the dirt trail, it ruins your exit door, and that's why you may end up wearing a diaper. Based on no evidence, I'm sure maybe he is an expert. I don't know. I can't say I know anything about it, so I'm not going to comment on it.
Ethan Klein is saying this. So a homosexual caller calls in and wants to tell Ethan that he is offended because Ethan Klein does not understand gay intercourse dynamics. Which, as a straight man, why would he understand that?
He just shouldn't be assuming these things. And later, they even had a caller call into the show to try and educate Ethan and the crew on why his stereotyping is so wrong. And honestly, he was just not having any bit of what the caller was saying. It seemed like he was not open to other people's opinions. He was not open to learning and or educating himself. It honestly was just kind of like the past shows that he has been getting called out for not listening to the crew, for not listening to other people's opinions. This is the same thing that he keeps getting called out for, not being open to hearing other people out, just, really saying whatever he's feeling in the moment and then later having to apologize for it or at least address the fact that people are upset with him. And that's what was happening here. The call was...
That's all I'm asking for, is just be a little more conscious of it.
So would you consider yourself a top or a bottom, or you don't do that, the labels?
And I mean this with all peace and love and with respect, Ethan. It's none of your business.
But you have a preference one way or the other?
But that's another dangerous assumption, too.
Can I
guess?
Will you tell me if it's right, if I guess right?
No.
Well, you know what? I'm not gonna get into it, Matt. But we all know which one you prefer.
The call was so uncomfortable to listen to because this person kept trying to say over and over again, hey, this is not okay. You know, this is really hurtful and you shouldn't be stereotyping. And Ethan was then trying to guess what this person's particular preference was in bed. And I mean, it just really went south very, very, very quickly. And people were particularly taken back and very upset by the fact that Dan was telling viewers to shut up and saying that he is so over people having things to criticize them for on the show.
Honestly, just so over these people. Shut the fuck up. Shut up. It's an entertaining show. Shut the fuck up.
Someone says, I don't know what's up.
So disappointing.
Someone said,
grow up. Jesus Christ.
Dan.
I don't know what's up with Ethan today, but something's off. Bad vibes this episode.
Shut up. Unsubscribe. Go away. No, I'm so frustrated with these people.
So wait,
There. As a straight man, which Ethan Klein is, he's a lot of things. He's gross, he's ugly, he, has a lot of nasty qualities, but he's a straight man. Why would he understand gay dynamics?
He went on to ask if he could guess.
Can
Because
I
a lot of
guess?
gay men don't.
You tell me if it's right, if I guess right.
No.
Well, you know what? I'm not gonna get into it, Matt. But we all know which one you prefer.
Then Ethan backtracks everything and said he doesn't understand where the caller is coming from and he doesn't get it. And it just continues from here. Ethan keeps asking the caller questions, keeps talking about positions, and he goes on and on and on. People in the chat were calling Ethan out, saying he was being really homophobic to the caller. Ethan asked Dan if he was right, and Dan said, of course you were right, and went off on the people calling them out. He was telling people to unsubscribe, he was telling their fans to shut up, and saying they're too sensitive for their show.
People say it was gross and disappointing. Saying you can guess if Matt is a power by his voice is so gross. But I was right. That was the point. Wasn't I? He admitted.
Yeah, of course you were right. And honestly, just so over people. Shut the up. Shut up.
Then you will make a mistake,
Okay, we have a call about the top-bottom stereotype.
and they will devour you with glee.
So, Matt, what have I got wrong?
I know often you feel inclined to describe someone where you think they might be a bottom. And I think that's often a misconception.
Paying members of his channel $5 a month are full of lonely women and gay men. And I don't have a problem with either. But I know how lonely women and gay men interact. They go after enemies together and they team up and they want Ethan Klein done.
Wrong
And I don't
way.
think
I think some of y'all are way too sensitive for the show. To be totally honest, like people in this thread who are saying they're grossed out and whatever, I think this with peace and love, you might be too sensitive to watch this show. If you're
Ethan Klein apologizing to his own fans. Ethan Klein, like I've been documenting for 18 months now, has been fighting off cancellations, have been fighting off his fans. Literally, they're not Keemstar fans anymore. They're not Trisha fans. He is legit fighting off his own fans from every single episode. Literally hate each other. His fans also said, well, don't make fun of women. Race, women, and now gays.
And then Ethan's mom, Donna, from the Families podcast, replied to Ethan and tried to stand up for him, writing, because of archaic views demonizing preferences, people are more sensitive with edgy, satirical comedy. A lot of people didn't like Donna's comment, and now she's getting backlash. I was kind of surprised to see her comment because I thought the Families podcast ended because Ethan wanted to protect his mom from the internet. Since this turned into a really controversial topic, I'm surprised Donna got involved and that her reply is still up.
And then the fans are now going after Ethan Klein's mom.
And really watch myself and, try to educate yourself in the moment instead of, waiting for everybody to be upset and then see that Twitter is upset and all the platforms are upset and then apologize. If someone's telling you, hey, I don't know about that, maybe you should listen. Maybe just take a listen before it blows up like this. Because
part of me from this like woke whiplash, I do feel like there's a little bit of like the left eating themselves. Because if Cat
That's
really,
what we're best at.
yeah, I mean the left really eats itself.
That's a long running thing.
And it's actually it's really painful to me because if Cat thinks I'm that big of an enemy, we can never be allied. Can never be on the same team as her. And just going through these past couple months of like every week something happening, it's like it really makes me understand how people like Tim Pool and Steven Crowder and Dave Rubin and all these fucking goons on the right that are just vile freaks that I despise on many levels. I understand how they exist and why so many people watch them. It's because they get tired of being called racist and homophobic, and they say, screw this, I'm gonna go hang out with these fucking guys. And it does radicalize them because once you roll in that crew, it's hard to get out, right? It's hard to get out.
I think that those people were always spineless, and that's
But the audience, there is like a certain thing. Like it'd be so easy for me now to be like, go on Tim Pool or whatever, because they always invite me on now whenever this shit happens. But like Ben Shapiro used to always try to get me to come on a show every time I got canceled, and then talk about how woke culture is the fucking ruining society. I never did. I always said, "Fuck you, you little bitch ass weasel," because he's a piece of shit, and I'm never gonna go that route, right?
Yeah, and no.
But it'd be so easy to go there and be like, you know what, blah blah blah, woke culture, this and that, and then you get new fans. You get a lot of new fans, and then all of a sudden, you got to start catering to them, and you get sucked in. And once you go against them, because they're just as bad as like the ultra woke. They have the dogma that you don't fucking cross too.
Well, you're right, and then you wind up like Dave Rubin, where
exactly
Ben Shapiro is telling you to your face that he thinks you're evil for being a gay man and that he would never come to your wedding. And
exactly. You end up like Dave Rubin.
And you nod along and be like, okay, well, I accept that.
I understand. You end up Dave Rubin. Yeah. Totally. And there was a path that could have taken me down to Tim Pool, Dave Rubin.
Sure.
But I chose not to, and I never will. I never will, because I know in my heart that those guys are fucking reactionary pieces of shit, and I hate everything they stand for. It's against everything I believe in.
Mm-hmm.
But I get it, right? Because y'all, when you constantly calling people gay or homophobic and racist and shit, who mean well, maybe they're ignorant, maybe they're not like ultra woke, but they mean well, and they're definitely on your team. Like, let's be honest. Like me and Dan, we're on your fucking team. If you don't think me and Dan are on your team, you have no allies. There's nobody left to fight for you. If you think that me and Dan are actively again, there's like, okay, I understand. I can hold some like homophobic, like to say, oh, you think it's okay to make that joke? It's like, I get it. I won't do that again. I understand that it was offensive, but you this label of homophobic and racist. If you think me and Dan are not on your team, then there's nobody on your team. There really isn't. I'm sorry, but me and Dan are two very progressive dudes, very social conscious dudes. Dan more than me, who's been called a homophobe probably more time in his life than ever before. Is that right, Dan?
Probably the first time.
Yeah, first time. I mean, we had people returning their Teddy Fresh because of the show. It's their choice. We give them a refund. I totally get it. But it's like, you don't want to be associated with me anymore? I'm that fucking nuclear to you? Okay. What else is there to say?